Hi guys, happy Saturday. We are here to finish another chapter of our class read aloud. Abigail's joining us today, so we are going to be reading chapter 6. Is this hill as good as the one behind our school in Cherrydale? Kevin asked George as the boys dragged George's sled a few blocks to Jumping Mouse Lane. George's dad had ordered them out of the house after they had cleaned the kitchen and the laundry room. He said it was probably safer that way. This hill's awesome, George promised Kevin. There aren't any trees, so you're not always smashing into things on the way down. There were plenty of kids on the hill when the boys arrived. Juliana was zipping down on a red sled. Chris and Alex were right behind her. Max and Mike were busy dragging Louie up the hill on a shiny metal disc that must have been a Christmas present. Sage was busy making snow angels. You mind if I go first? Kevin asked. Go ahead, George said. I'll bring your sled back so you can have a turn, Kevin told him. As Kevin started whizzing down the hill, Alex came trudging up, pulling his sled. Have you tried eating marshmallows yet? He asked. Yeah, George said. That didn't exactly work. I'm beginning to think there's no cure for a super burp. There's a cure for everything, Alex told him. Sometimes scientists take decades, even centuries, to find cures, but they find them eventually. George frowned. Decades? Centuries? Eventually? I need help now, Alex, George said. He'd stopped speaking for a moment. Actually, I need help right now. Because at that very moment, something was brewing in the bottom of George's belly. Something bing-bongy and ping-pongy. Couldn't the burp give George even one afternoon off? Bing-bong, ping-pong. Apparently not. Alex looked at George. Oh, dude, not again, he said. George nodded. But this time, the burp wasn't going to escape. George was going to get that burp to go in reverse. He dropped to his knees and began to roll down the hill. First, his head was up, then his feet, then his head. The burp was getting more and more confused. It didn't know which end was up. George rolled faster and faster. Head up, down, up. Whoosh! Suddenly, George felt all the air rush out of him. It was like someone popped a balloon in the bottom of his belly. Hooray! George stood and raised his fist in the air. Victory! Cold, wet snow was in his hair, on his face, under his collar, and all over his coat and pants. Even his underwear were cold and wet. But it was worth it. Look, Dad, a little boy shouted, pointing at George. It's Frosty. He began to sing Frosty the Snowman was a jolly soul. George was jolly and happy, all right. He had just squelched a belch. For the rest of the afternoon, until the sky began to grow darker, George and his friends kept on sledding. He had snow in his underpants, up his nose, and even between his toes. But that was okay with George. Cold and wet was how a normal, burp-free 10-year-old was supposed to be. George set his sled up for one last run. Look out below, he shouted. Here I come. That night, as the boys got ready for bed, Kevin jumped around George's room, punching the air and screaming, "Hi-ya!" over and over. Kevin was in his karate uniform. He kicked his leg up high in the air. Oh, yeah, I'm ready for tomorrow. That makes one of us, George thought to himself. Here it was Tuesday night, and he still hadn't figured out a way to cheer on Kevin tomorrow at the karate tournament and go to the Schmeinus show with Alex. He couldn't choose between his two best friends. No matter which one he chose, someone was going to get hurt. Hi-ya! Kevin shouted again, for the 101st time. Wait until you see me break a board into two with my foot. George wished Kevin could break him into two. Then George could be in both places at the same time. Suddenly, George opened his eyes wide. He had an idea. I'll be back in a minute. He ran downstairs for the newspaper. There were announcement ads with the address for both the Schmeinus show and the tournament. Are these places near each other? George asked his dad. Right down the block from each other, he said. That was the answer George wanted to hear. Maybe there was a way he could be in two places at the same time, or almost the same time. And if he did it just right, neither Kevin nor Alex would have ever known. Say goodnight. Say bye. Bye, guys.